featuring the Prodigy podcast. We're here. We're in the house. We're in the recording studio. We got the camera. We got the mic set up. We're all here, ready to go. Does
our studio have a corporate sponsor yet? I gave you that assignment. Are these like the Pizza Ranch Studios or the Ford Lincoln Mercury Studios?
We'll get there. We'll get there at some point.
Pick and Save Grocery Studios.
Walgreens, right? Yeah. So we made it. We have it all set up. We're just excited for more football.
We're excited for more football, and our voices are recovered after our road trip to Des Moines. End up right up here with a win too over Division I Drake University. We were there. We're just an amazing comeback from down 21-13 with a minute and a half left. Some incredible individual efforts from a couple of players, upperclassmen, Jalen Graham said, Mike Story, and then Connor
came big when it mattered.
And then Eli Stater almost knocked in a 55-yarder.
We were really thinking that was going to
Drake set up for the kick six on that. Did you see that? And
yeah,
the guy returned it smart. But in the end, it was a little bit of a really good call by the officials on the 2-point conversion, and replay did not come into play at that point. And then a fantastic effort, especially on defense in overtime.
Yeah.
And basically a 3-and kick for Drake. Northwestern gets the ball back, and then Connor McQuillan on a direct snap goes around right end, finds nothing, reverses field. Takes it back to the left and rumbles to the house for a walk-off. So, way to go, Raiders. 2-0 on the season. Still ranked number 1 in the country. And it was great being there. So, Let's go look at our D1 schedule for the week. We got, I don't know.
Yeah,
I would call it a C- schedule.
Yeah,
it's not the worst schedule in history, but
it might be the worst this season. So far, this is really
probably the worst on the year.
This probably means it's going to be upset Saturday, so watch out for that. But we're still here picking games. We got 5 for you.
Let's do it. Here we go.
First one, we got the backyard brawl, Pitt at West Virginia. This game is a rivalry from the 80s and 90s.
Where's
kind of being renewed.
Morgantown?
It is in West Virginia, Morgantown. The Mountaineers are favored by 2.5. That's kind of surprising. Realizing Neil Brown being on fire.
In terms of his gameplay, but his seat being on fire. The guy needs a win desperately.
Really
all of your hot seat rankings have him at or near the top, most likely to lose his position. I don't think this game does anything to help him. I think Pittsburgh wins the game outright. West Virginia just isn't all that good. I'm going to not only take the points, I'm going to take Pitt straight up. Give me the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. I think that Pat Narduzzi consistently an 8-4 kind of team, and that's just not where West Virginia's at, even at home, night game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a way that West Virginia can pull out of this one as a victor.
All right, game 2.
Right, next game, we'll go to Chapel Hill. We'll
Tobacco Road.
Be looking at the Golden Gophers.
We don't condone tobacco use on the Preacher and the Prodigy.
The Preacher and the Prodigy, yeah. So it's Minnesota at North Carolina. This is interesting. You don't often see these matchups. Teams from way up north, way to the east. North Carolina is favored by 7.5. I think that's low. I think that's really low for a team who's at home and, they have a team coming to them who they never really played before. They don't know what to expect, but they've got the better player in Drake May and the better coach in Mac Brown. I just think that's really going to be all they need to win. Give me the Tar Heels to cover this one.
So let me ask you this. Who's a better football team, Minnesota or App State, who took North Carolina in Chapel Hill to overtime for the second year in a row? Who's a better team? If Minnesota, App State played tomorrow on a neutral field in Cincinnati, Ohio.
I think App State can do a better job of hanging with Minnesota because they have the better or North Carolina, sorry. They have the better offense of the two, and I think that's really all you need because you're not going to be able to stop Drake May. You just have to catch up with him, stay with him the whole game. I don't think that Minnesota can do that, even with the Greek Freak, Ethan Kaliakmanis at quarterback. I just don't see that happening in Chapel Hill.
I'm gonna take Minnesota. I'm gonna just say Minnesota's gonna slow this game down. They're gonna try to stay on the field. They're gonna do it with defense. I'm gonna take the Gophers to cover this one. Give me North Carolina 27, Minnesota 20. Tar Heels win. Gophers cover. We disagree.
Next one, we'll be heading to the CBS game of the week. It's going to be South Carolina on the road in between the hedges against the Georgia Dogs. Dogs are favored by a hefty 27.5 points. This is a lot for a solid South Carolina team. You have them in your preseason top 10. You're still riding with that, I assume.
But they also had Georgia number 1. So
yeah, you did have Georgia 1. I think this is going to be interesting because South Carolina probably has the better quarterback of the two. We don't really know what Carson Beck really can do yet, but he will for sure be running for his life because if North Carolina can force 9 sacks, imagine what Georgia can do. They'll be chasing records out there. Give me the Bulldogs big time in this game. Something along the lines of like 45-9. Give me them huge. I don't think Spencer Rattler will be able to get anything going.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I think 26 points is just way too many for an in-conference game, especially in-division game, in which Shane Beamer has shown the ability to get his team up for big contests, the North Carolina game notwithstanding. I think South Carolina plays out of its mind, keeps this thing within a couple touchdowns. I see this being 37 to 20, something like that. Georgia wins. Give me the Cox cover.
Disagree. All right. Washington heading to Michigan State.
Vegas has this at Michigan State plus 70. Is that what I heard?
That's what it should be.
So it sounds like I know what you're taking.
No, Huskies are favored by 16. This game is 4 o'clock. Peacock. Weird kickoff. They have those weird kickoff times over on Peacock.
Everything about Peacock is weird.
Besides Mike Tirico, we love him, but everything else, I'm just not used to yet. So Michigan State, obviously with the situation, Mel Tucker bringing back D'Antonio, and who's the interim right now?
Harlan Barnett.
So that's going to be an interesting situation. That'll be fun for us to watch play out. Them trying to keep up with Michael Penix. This is gonna be a tougher game.
What's the weather supposed to be?
I'm not sure on that yet. We might have to check after this.
If I'm Michigan State, I'm praying for a deluge, man. Little early season snowstorm wouldn't hurt either if you want to try to cover something.
If you really want this to be close, you really just gotta hope that it is pouring out there in East Lansing. The only way I could possibly see Michigan State covering this game is if Penix or Rome Odunze or Jalen McMillan gets hurt, and that just takes away such a key part of their offense. With what's going now in the Spartan program, I just don't see a way that Washington doesn't score 50 against that passing defense.
Yeah, I don't think they'll score 50. But, you're right. The Achilles heel of Michigan State the last few years has been the secondary. They just cannot seem to stop the downfield attack. They're always pretty stout against the run. They send guys right through the middle. That's the Michigan State way. They want to close down your rushing attack and make you throw the ball. Well, teams have said, fine, we shall, and have just aerated on them lightly. I'm going to agree with you. I think it's going to be tough for Michigan State to keep this thing within 3 scores. I honestly don't see 50. Do I see
5 scores?
Do I see 44-24? I do. Something like that. And probably 24 for Michigan State right now might be a little on the high side. 44-17, something like that.
Yeah.
Sounds about right to me.
I'm seeing realistically Washington isn't scoring.
But this is just one of those games I would never bet in real life because you never really know the dynamics of it. Maybe Michigan State comes together, us against the world. They might discover a chip on their shoulder, just that they're disrespected in all this. Would be crazy for Michigan State, a program that always holds its head high and doesn't resort to such kinds of motivational techniques. They could just feel a lack of respect, and they could keep this thing within, 14. But taking the Dogs, taking the Huskies.
All right, so final game this week. What would we call this week? Just sleep in Saturday? Is what you're thinking?
Not for you. You got to run it across country.
That's a good point. You could sleep in, but I got to go run a 5K.
I think I would call it Yard Work Saturday. Does it have to be an S? Or, I don't know.
Could be. Sounds better with an S, but no.
Probably Side Project Saturday. I'm not sure. You have the games on in the background, but they're, your focus is on trimming the hedges, painting a room, I don't know, cleaning out your gutter or something like that.
Yeah, more than one. So the last game we have is going to be Tennessee at Florida.
Mm-hmm.
This is a night game in the swamp. Watch out for that. That probably affects the way Vegas is picking on this big time because the Vols are only favored by 6. After what we've seen from Graham Mertz in Florida, it has not been like if this is a neutral site game.
What did Florida do in week 2? I mean, we know they lost to Utah. What do they do in week 2? Do they play like North Carolina A&T or something like that?
Probably
just
something
paycheck
like
game.
that. Yeah. But like if this is a neutral site game, I'd see the Vols favored by at least double digits. But with it being crazy atmosphere in the swamp at night, that probably affects Oregon on this one. The X factor for me is probably, Joe Milton. Like we heard this earlier, Joe Milton. I don't know. He can either be crazy good, throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, or throw for 150 and 4 picks. Like it's either or for him in these kind of big games. And I'm worried trying to pick this one. I think I'll probably take Tennessee, knowing that they're the better team with the better style of play. Florida, Billy Napier still trying to figure things out. But this could very well go the other way in Florida State.
Is Billy Napier on the worm seat? They don't have a lot of patience down there in Gainesville. And after the way that they opened the season out in Utah, I think there are going to be a few fans who are a little concerned right now. I'm going to take the Gators. I'm going to take the Swamp. I'm picking the Swamp over Tennessee more than I'm picking the Florida football team over Tennessee. I think that, if you and I were to, make a road trip of right now the 10 places we'd like to see a football game that we haven't yet, the Swamp would almost
for sure.
definitely be on there.
For sure.
And so I think it could be a game Florida wins. I think it could be a, the back to the wall, the wounded animal is dangerous. The wounded alligator is just swinging his tail indiscriminately, and all those coonskin capped volunteers could be pulled underneath the surface of the deep, dark, murky waters of Central Florida. Take the Gators, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win.
Chomp, chomp.
Could be.
Right in that game. Well,
and that'll be it for this week. And
last week, went 3-2. You went 2-3, so a pretty average start.
Yeah, not much to write home about at this point. But again, even though we didn't pick the games in the first week, all the teams that I would have picked covered. So it's kind of like I'm 8-3.
Same here. So really, I'm 9-2.
All right, that'll do it for this week from the ExxonMobil Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm the preacher.
I'm the Prodigy.